from CASSIUS, IFL TV, MTK Global. We're at the way. It's finished. It's done. It's done. It's good. It's all good. I'm joined by the very eccentric Gareth A. Davies. Is that rude to call you eccentric?
You can. No, of course it's not. You can call me whatever you want.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Very well. Thank you very much. We're at the weigh-in here at Spitalfields Market. Right, bit of. I'm really uncomfortable. Can I hold that?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Do you know about the gentleman's martial arts of Bartitsu, originated by Sherlock Holmes and friends?
I'm sure you're going to tell us.
Way back when, where they used to have swords and umbrellas and the cape to fight a sword, and where they. Yeah. Anyway, I'm very well. How are you?
How are you?
Good.
Good. Now, I want to pick up on some comments that Johnny Nelson really made yesterday about him being 1,000% sure.
I watched that.
It was a good little debate, and I think Johnny...
With Spencer Oliver and Adam as well.
Smith and Matthew Macklin came in, David Diamante. Are you 1,000% sure that Joshua wins the rematch? I don't see how anyone can really say that.
With Dillian Whyte or with...
No, with Andy Ruiz.
Okay. I'm not 1,000% sure.
How can you be?
I'm not 1,000% sure he's even going to take the rematch myself.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What? Do you know something?
I might know something.
Okay.
I may be wrong. Sometimes we are.
That's quite strong. That's a strong statement.
Well, look, Anthony Joshua on his own YouTube channel, KUGAN, has put out, even in the last 24 hours, that he wants to be a two-time world champion, that he wants to regain the belt, that things went wrong. You've seen the video, I'm sure, and a lot of people will have seen it. But there are little rumours around that he's not sure now whether it's worth going into the rematch straight away. The common kind of knowledge and the common advice from people like Bob Arum, from George Foreman, from Frank Warren, obviously not involved in his career, is that there's no rush. Come back and win the belt slowly. They'll all be split up in a year's time. I know the other side of it. You can win them all back in one fell swoop, but it's also a massive gamble and mental pressure for him to come straight back and fight Andy Ruiz. But that's just a little rumour I'm hearing, that he may not take Andy Ruiz next.
That's interesting. We're not going to ask you where your sources are from.
That's why I'm not going to tell you.
I know, that's why we're not going to ask you.
I might have to stick my umbrella in.
Yeah, let's not do that. Okay, let's talk about this card here, Gareth.
No, you asked me about 1,000% as well.
Yeah, okay.
There is no guarantee. I think Anthony Joshua would win the rematch against Andy Ruiz. I do think he'd do it. I think Andy Ruiz is enjoying the spoils of his victory. And I don't think he'd be as hungry a fighter when they fight the second time.
Different mentality going into the fight.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd be as hungry. And I think Joshua is really hungry. I don't think he's a better boxer than Andy Ruiz. I don't think he would be a better boxer than him in the second fight. But he's certainly got the firepower and the wherewithal to beat Andy Ruiz second time round. But 1,000%? Of course you can't say that.
That's a Johnny Nelson comment though. But you make a good point actually about the mindsets from both fighters going into it. It's almost flips. Joshua's going in there with almost Ruiz's mentality before he was going into that fight. Andy Ruiz is probably just more confident now that he can get the job done. But you're 100% right in what you're saying.
Not 1,000% right.
Not 1,000% right. Okay, let's talk about this card, Gareth. What's the pick-em fight for you on this one?
There's two really. I mean, there's loads of pick-ems on this card, but there's two fights I'm really interested in because I like the backstory of Dave Allen. And a year ago, pretty much today, and we were all here, 28th of July last year, Dave Allen, going into the fight with Nick Webb, was thinking about retiring if he didn't beat Nick Webb, and he got that brilliant knockout against him. 4 victories since then, and if he can beat Dave Price, he fights Povetkin, Alexander Povetkin, the former Olympic champion, at the O2 Arena on the 31st of August. That's amazing. What a story. Yeah. This is a guy that had gambling problems, wasn't being paid to fight. I don't mean by the promoters, but he wasn't getting any money. That his mental health issues he's open about. So it's a fascinating story. But I do think that David Price got a very good opportunity in the first 4 or 5 rounds to win the fight if he lands clean. But after 4 or 5 rounds, I think Dave Allen's got a decent shout of really upsetting the apple cart again and going on and facing Povetkin in August. But also Dillian Whyte and Oscar Rivas.
Potential banana skin?
Perilous fight.
Yeah.
No question. Oscar Rivas doesn't have the resume that Dillian Whyte's got. There's nothing like it. But this is a guy with a brilliant amateur pedigree, who's a very dangerous fighter, who's going to bury his head on Dillian Whyte's chest, let his hooks go. He's got decent head movement. His skin looks fantastic. He looks really fit. He's got the. I put this as a lion against a panther. Dillian's the lion. Oscar Rivas is the panther. He's got that look about him. I loved it when they faced off yesterday at the press conference. Cannot wait to see them today. We're not, obviously we're speaking just before they weigh in. But for me, Dillian gets drawn into a firefight here tomorrow night at the O2 Arena in London. And he comes through after a really dangerous first 6 rounds and either wins on points or stops Oscar Rivas late.
Okay, I enjoyed that little insight there, Gareth. It just reminded me that we need to get you on more often, once every leap year.
Exactly.
Gareth,
well, let's leap year, yeah?
Thank
See you later.
very much.
Pleasure.
And we'll catch up soon.
Cheers. Thanks, Cougs.
Keep it real.
What up, yo?